It's chapter 12, Matrices, Matrix Operations, part 1. Woo! Before we get into some basic matrix operations, which you guys I think already know about, I just want to show you quick the general form of a matrix because they use it in the book and they might refer to it. And just so you're clear what it is, the general form of a matrix is just a generic matrix that can represent any matrix. So each entry is indicated by a lowercase letter that's usually the same as the uppercase letter that's representing the matrix. So in this case, little a. And then we follow it with two subscripts. The first number, the number of rows, and the second, the number of columns. So this one's in row 1, column 1. Then we would have A12, row 1, column 2. A13, and we would go out to A1n. We'll say n is the number of columns. And then the second row would be A21, A22, A23, all the way out to A2n. And we would continue this down to the last row, which we'll indicate with an M. So this would be AM1, AM2, all the way over to the very last entry, which is in row M, column N. We also need to know about the dimensions. When we describe the dimensions of a matrix, that is the number of rows by the number of columns. And we're not really indicating multiplication here, just a by here. So above here, we would have M rows by N columns. So generic matrix is an M by N matrix. All right, let's talk about matrix addition and subtraction. Now, the important thing about matrix addition and subtraction is that you can only add or subtract two matrices that have the same dimension. So A and B must have the same dimensions. And the result of A plus B or A minus B is a new matrix with the same dimensions, and its entries are going to be the sum or the difference of the corresponding entries of A and B. So for example, let's say that A is the matrix 2, -1, 3, -4, 6, 1, and B is the matrix 4, 3, -1, -4, 5, 7. A plus B, matrix A plus matrix B, will be a new matrix where all I do is add corresponding entries. So this first entry here will be the sum of these two. So 2 plus 4 is 6. And then we'd have -1 plus 3. And 3 plus -1 is 2. And then we would have -4, -4, -8. 6 and 5 is 11. And 1 and 7 is 8. And if I want to subtract them, same thing. I'm going to subtract corresponding entries. So 2 minus 4, -2, -1 minus 3, -4. 3 minus -1 is positive 4. -4 minus -4 is 0. 6 minus 5 is 1. 1 minus 7 is -6. That is so cool. I'm going to take a picture. Now we can also do something with multiplication. Multiplication is a little bit trickier. In the next video we'll talk about multiplying two matrices together. But for this video, let's just talk about scalar multiplication. And that's when we take a scalar times a matrix. And maybe the word scalar sounds familiar because we used the word scalar when we talked about vectors. And when we're talking about vectors or matrices, we need a term that is for just numbers. And that's what we use the term scalar for. So when we're in the matrices land or we're in vector land and we want to talk about just a number, we use the term scalar. So scalar is just a real number. So basically scalar multiplication is we're going to do a number times the matrix. So in this case, let's say I want to do 3 times matrix A. And all I'm going to do is take that 3 and multiply it by each entry. So it's going to be 3 times 2, -1, 3, -4, 6, 1. So that will be 6, -3, 9, -12, 18, 3. Pretty easy stuff. Can we do this on the calculator too, Miss Ryder? Because last time we did it all by hand and then you said, oh, we can do it by the calculator. Well, we can do it on the calculator, but I'm not convinced that doing it on the calculator is any faster than just doing it by hand. But I'll show you so you know. All right, so first of all, again, we want to put our matrices into our calculator. So we want to go to the matrix menu and go to edit and and I want to edit matrix A, and it is this one is a 2 by 3, 2 rows by 3 columns. So I want to do that, and it looks like I already entered this one. So 2, -1, 3, -4, 6, 1. Good. So now let's go back to our matrix menu and edit matrix B. This one is also a 2 by 3 matrix, and this one we have to enter. So 4, 3, -1, -4, 5, 7. Now we'll see if we did everything correct. All right, now we can add or subtract or multiply these matrices. So in our matrix menu, if we go to math, oh, we don't even need to do that, sorry. We do need the name, so we'll do the matrix menu. We'll choose A, then we'll use the normal plus sign, and then choose matrix B. And we'll just do A plus B, and we get this new matrix, which is what we said we would get. And like I said, I'm not convinced that was any faster than just doing it by hand. But now that the matrices are in, maybe it's pretty quick. So we'll do math, names, A minus matrix B. And that's what we got as well. And we can do this scalar multiplication as well. So we would just do 3 times matrix A. And is that what we got? Looks like it. All right.